That weird spam call that knew your first name, that sketchy email that knew which bank you use, where do you think they got that information? It wasn't random. Right now, your personal details are for sale on a hidden corner of the internet for less than the price of a coffee. But your name and number are just the beginning. This is a place where your entire digital life is commodity and where services you can't even imagine are bought and sold in total anonymity. We've all heard the term dark web. It sounds like something out of spy movie. Most people picture the internet like an iceberg, the part we see every day, Google, YouTube, Instagram. That's the tiny tip, the surface web, and it's only about 5% of the entire internet. Below that is the massive deep web, the other 95%. This is mostly normal stuff. Your online banking portal, your email inbox, corporate databases, things that aren't indexed by search engines, but aren't necessarily sinister. But hidden within that deep web, at the very bottom, is a small intentionally anonymous part that requires a special software to access. That is the dark web. It's a tiny fraction of a fraction, but its impact is massive. Today we are not just defining it, we are taking a guide tour into the internet's true underbelly. We'll explore the shocking services offered, how the world's most sophisticated scams are orchestrated, and how law enforcement hunts down ghosts in this digital underworld. So how does this place even exist? Why can't we just find these sites on Google? The answer is a technology that's called Tor, which stands for the onion router, and that's the perfect analogy. When you use Tor browser to visit a dark website, your connection is wrapped in multiple layers of heavy encryption, like the layers of an onion. So your request is then bounced between a random series of volunteer-run computers around the world called relays. Each relay only knows the location of the previous and next computer in the chain. By the time your request reaches its destination, it's virtually impossible to trace it back to you. This creates a high level of anonymity for both the visitor and the website host. It's used today by journalists and activists in oppressive regimes to communicate safely. But this same clock of anonymity is what allows the illicit markets to thrive. So what can you actually find on the dark web? It's like a twisted version of Amazon and Fiverr combined, where almost anything is for sale. You have the obvious stuff, marketplaces selling illegal drugs and weapons, but the real currency of the dark web is data and access. Hackers breach company servers and then dump millions of user accounts for sale. We're talking email and password combos, social security numbers, even scanned passwords. News outlets like CTV News have reported extensively on how the credit card numbers and personal information for millions of Canadians and Americans end up for sale on these markets, sometimes just hours after a major data breach. A full digital identity can sometimes sell for less than $1,000. This is the source of those weird spam calls and phishing emails. Your information was likely part of a breach and sold to the highest bidder. A great tool to check if your email has been part of a known data breach is a website called Have I Been Pwned? It's a must use for anyone on the internet. But it's not just about selling data, it's about selling services, and some of them are incredibly clever. Let me walk you through a real-world example people offer, the Amazon Refund scam. Here's how it works. You find a vendor on the dark web market. You tell them you want to buy, say, $20,000 professional camera from Amazon. The vendor says, okay, my fee is 10% for the item's value, so $2,000. You pay them that fee in cryptocurrency, and then you go and order that camera from Amazon yourself with your own money and have it shipped to your address. Now, this is where the vendor's inside connection comes in. They have someone working inside the postal service or a courier company's distribution center. When your package arrives at the center, their insider intercepts it, scans it, but never puts it on the truck for final delivery. Instead, they mark the package's status as lost in transit. A few days later, you contact Amazon and say, hey, my 20,000 camera never arrived. The tracking says it's lost. Amazon checks, confirms the status, and because they have to honor their delivery guarantee, they issue you a full refund of your $20,000. Meanwhile, the vendor's insider on the dark web ships you that lost package. So in the end, you got your $20,000 camera and you got your $20,000 refund from Amazon. You essentially got the product for free, and the vendor on the dark web made $2,000 for their service. It's a sophisticated scam that relies on corrupted insiders. But the dark web is so much more than just scams and individual criminals. It's a geopolitical playground. Intelligence agencies from countries all over the world, including the FBI and CIA, use the dark web for covert communications and to monitor terrorists and criminal groups. It's a digital battlefield. Terrorist organizations like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and state-sponsored groups like Iran's IRGC have used the anonymous nature of the dark web for fundraising through cryptocurrency, recruitment, and spreading propaganda that would be instantly taken down from the surface web. It's a place where they can operate in the shadows, funding their operations and purchasing weapons. And this brings up a darker point about governments themselves. Why are some nations so heavily invested in mining cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin 24/7? It's not just for economic reason. Untraceable digital currency is the perfect way to fund off-the-book operations. They can use it to buy hacking tools to attack other countries, fund proxy groups, or purchase surveillance technology, all without a clear financial trail. And think about how this affects all of us. Remember those massive data breaches you hear about in the news? That data, your personal information, your political leanings, your online habits, is often packaged and sold on the dark web. Political operatives can then buy these data to create incredibly detailed psychological profiles of voters. They use this to target specific groups with hyper-personalized disinformation campaigns on social media designed to sway opinion and influence the outcomes of major elections. The ads you see might be influenced by data that was stolen and sold in secret. This can even escalate to real-world threats, like the incident where a man was arrested after making online threats to assassinate Donald Trump, a situation fueled by kind of a radicalization that can happen in these anonymous online spaces. And then there are the truly dark corners, the ones that feel like they're straight out of a horror movie. You hear stories about challenges like the Blue Whale game, a horrific form of psychological manipulation that spread online, pushing vulnerable people through a series of escalating tasks that sometimes ended in self-harm or suicide. While it spread on the surface web, its origins and the mindset behind it are rooted in the kind of extreme anonymous communities that fester in these hidden spaces. It's a concept that's almost like a real-life version of the movie Hostel, where the ultra-wealthy could pay to live out their darkest fantasies. On the dark web, you can find listings for services that are almost unbelievable, hiring hackers to ruin someone's life, private investigators who operate far outside the law, and even darker, more violent services. While many of these are likely scams to prey on the worst of humanity, the fact that the market for them even exists is chilling. It's a stark reminder that this anonymity can be used to facilitate the worst aspects of human nature. So, how do these transactions happen? Almost exclusively with cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin was the original, but because its transaction history is public, many have moved to more privacy-focused coins like Monero. Increasingly, they also use stable coins like Tether on networks like Tron for fast, low-fee transfers. The money is sent from one anonymous digital wallet to another, making it very difficult to trace. With all this anonymity, it seems impossible to catch anyone, right? Well, that's a myth. Let's talk about the most famous dark web takedown in history, the Silk Road. The Silk Road was the first modern dark web marketplace, launched in 2011 by a man named Ross Ulbricht, who went by the online name Dread Pirate Roberts. It was a massive eBay-style site primarily for selling illegal drugs. For years, he seems untouchable. So how did the FBI catch him? It wasn't one single thing. It was a long, painstaking investigation. They created undercover accounts and made purchases. But the big break was a simple human error. Years before he started Silk Road, Ross Ulbricht had made a post on a regular internet forum asking a programming question. And in that post, he used his real email address, which contained his full name. In another post promoting Silk Road in its early days, he used a username that investigators were later able to link to that same forum post. It was a tiny digital breadcrumb from years earlier that helped them connect the dots. In October 2013, FBI agents tracked him to a public library in San Francisco. To catch him while he was logged into the Silk Road's master server, they staged a distraction. Two agents started arguing loudly nearby. When Ulbricht turned his head to see what was going on, another agent swooped in and grabbed his open laptop before he could close it and encrypt the evidence. He was arrested and the Silk Road was shut down. So what does this all mean to you? Those annoying spam calls you get, the sketchy phishing emails, they are often a direct result of your data being leaked in a breach and sold on the dark web. Can you get your information removed from the dark web? The honest answer is no. Once your data is out there and has been copied and sold, it's like trying to put toothpaste back into the tube. It's impossible to erase completely. Does that mean you're helpless? Absolutely not. Protection is about defense, but first let's clear up a huge misconception. Many people think that using a privacy-focused browser like Brave or search engine like DuckDuckGo or a security browser from Norton will save you from the dark web. That is not what they do. These tools are great for improving your privacy on the surface web, blocking trackers, hiding your search history from big companies, but they do not access the dark web. Only the Tor browser can do that. And even these privacy tools aren't a magic shield. Even a browser like Brave which is built on privacy, has faced controversies and been caught in situations where they were redirecting searches through their own affiliate links, making money off of users in a way that wasn't transparent. The point is, no single tool is a perfect guarantee of privacy. The most important thing is your own knowledge. So what are the real defenses? Use a password manager. Create strong, unique passwords for every single website. Enable two-factor authentication everywhere you can. This is your single best defense. Be skeptical. Don't click on suspicious links in your email or messages. If a deal seems too good to be true, it is. The goal isn't to be scared. It is to be smart and make it harder for criminals to use your stolen information. So the dark web, it's not some mythical, evil place. It's a tool, a powerful tool for anonymity that, like any tool, can be used for incredible good and incredible evil. It's a place for extremes, reflecting the best and worst of human desires. It's a world built on privacy, but fueled by crime, espionage, and political maneuvering. And as our own world becomes more digital, understanding this hidden corner of the internet and how to protect ourselves from its dangers is more important than ever. This was really deep and dark topic, I know, but it's fascinating stuff. What part of the dark web economy surprised or shocked you the most? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you appreciate these kind of deep dives into the hidden side of tech, definitely make sure you're subscribed. What topic should we investigate next? Give me your suggestions. Alright, that's a look into the internet's underbelly. Thanks for watching and exploring with me. Until the next one, sharp.